Hi, I'm Sonya White Jaguar. Welcome to this edition of White Jaguar Wednesdays, my semi-monthly series where I discuss spiritual subjects inspired by your questions. Sorry to get things off to a late start this year, but the last 2 months were very busy, and unfortunately I got behind schedule. But I'm getting caught up now, and I've got lots of content to share with you. People have asked me when my next books are coming out, and my answer is very soon. I've been working on these two free books that I'll be posting on Wattpad. Later this month, I'll be posting this one, A Spiritual Perspective on Cancer, the disease that took Alan Rickman's life. This is an expansion of what was going to be the last chapter of From Actor to Healer, Alan Rickman's New Life as a Spirit Guide, Book 2. Alan's birthday is February 21st, so I'll be posting that book on the 21st as a tribute to him. And then later, I'll post Writing Alan Rickman's Autobiography, a fan fiction romance. This is total fiction, something I was inspired to write after reading Alan's diaries. And when I started working on it, I didn't think that Alan would want to contribute to it, but he loves the story. And I've channeled a lot of content from him. I think the story is helping him to process his life in a different way. So I'm happy I can help him that way. So watch for announcements about both books. And again, they're both free. Okay, so it's hard to believe, but Alan has been gone from this physical life now for 8 years. The anniversary of his passing was January 14th. Now, while he has given me visions of who he was in some past lives, he still appears to me as the actor Alan Rickman, mostly the way he looked in his 60s toward the end of his life. And when I hear his voice, sometimes it's just a soft whisper in my mind, but it's definitely Alan's voice with his accent and everything. And he has a strong presence, a big personality, and a terrific sense of humor. How he presents to me is very consistent. He presents as Alan Rickman. Many of you have written to me to tell me that you also have seen Alan, and he very clearly looks like Alan Rickman. Now, a friend of mine has been communicating with Alan on and off for a few years now, and Alan regularly appears to him in dreams and gives him messages, and he also gives my friend funny signs and synchronicities and to let him know that he's helping him. And despite all that, my friend struggles with why Alan appears as Alan. He asked me, he said, is Alan still Alan? He left this life, so why does he still look and sound like Alan? My friend still has this old idea that he'd learned when he was a kid, that when we die, we become like an amorphous blob that has no human characteristics and no longer cares about earthly life. And so today, I wanted to settle that question and let Alan explain who and what he is. Does he still identify as Alan Rickman, the British actor? Or does he feel like something altogether different that's no longer human? Okay, so first I'd like to revisit a conversation that I had with Alan about this topic back in 2016 when I was first getting acquainted with him. And I included this channeled material in my first book, From Actor to Healer, Alan Rickman's New Life as a Spirit Guide, Book 1. I'd like to share with you what I wrote, and then afterward I'll add to this. Okay, so here's the passage from the book. I said to Alan, I know it's a sensitive topic, but can I ask you to tell me more about what you experienced when you died? A moment later, a hospital bed appeared in my mind's eye. Alan's elderly body lay motionless on the bed. Then a powerful force whirled up and out of his body like a tornado. His soul had departed. Next, Alan showed me his lifeless, naked body laid out on a metal table. Rigor mortis had set in. His eyes were closed tight and looked sunken. There was no life left in them, and they would never reopen. His mouth had frozen slightly open, and he wouldn't speak again. I was standing by his feet, so I got a good look at his legs. They looked like thin wooden sticks. They wouldn't be moving again. I felt the stiffness of his body in mine. Even though Alan was no longer in that body, seeing him that way tore my heart out. I wept and told him not to show me that again. I understood he wanted me to see what had happened to him. He wanted me to see him in death and understand what death looks like. It has a finality like no other. I'd seen it in both of my parents, too. I know what death looks like. However, Alan did more than this. He conveyed, not with words, but with his emotions, that he wasn't attached to that body anymore. Of course, he wasn't physically attached to it, but he wasn't emotionally attached to it either. That life was behind him, and he had a new life now. It's just a thing, he said finally. It isn't me. It was my vessel for that lifetime. I am Alan Rickman, and I always will be that man who lived that life. But that body is not me. It was my vessel. What is death? I asked. Death is not the end of existence, he said. Death is a complete letting go of the person you were in that lifetime. It is the cessation of that life. That's it. It's not complicated. Death is wondrous. It's a transformation into an expanded awareness of everything and everyone around you. The lessons of your life become clear. How this life fits with your past lives becomes clear. To enter the afterlife is to enter an altered state of being. Everyone can understand death if they look inside their hearts and describe what they feel when they yearn for truth, for justice, for the end of fighting and wars. I pondered Alan's words. I think I understand what you're saying. Truth, justice, the end of violence and misunderstanding. This is what we find in death. Yes, exactly, he said. I asked Alan if he still felt like a human being. To me, he was still a man. He simply no longer had a physical body. I am still the man I was, he said, and much more. I'm an entity with free will that can float anywhere. I have a greater perspective on things, with access to more memories, and all of my faculties are intact. My physical body is the only thing I shed when I died. I still have thoughts and emotions. I still have personal desires, as well as wishes for the world to change. I am very much aware of what's happening in your world, and I'm sending Reiki for the betterment of humanity. Honestly, I feel like I have one foot in the door to your world and one foot in the door to mine. I never left and still have so much to give. It seems I died an ordinary death that has an extraordinary significance. I commented, 1 foot in the physical world and 1 foot in the higher dimension. That's the life of a mystic and a shaman. Perhaps you died an extraordinary death that has an ordinary significance. Death is a natural part of life. It's as natural as breathing, but it's so misunderstood. The soul's release of the body is a beautiful experience. The veil is lifted and the meaning of our lives becomes clear. We become one with our surroundings. We can see what's going on around us and feel everyone's feelings. We don't leave. We just take a higher view. As extraordinary as it may sound, it is in fact quite ordinary. Every one of us will experience this when we die. Alan added, after I died, I wanted to talk to people and tell them where I was. I wanted to tell them I was fine, better than fine. I live among the stars now. Jupiter, the Andromeda galaxy, I see them in a blink of an eye. It's beautiful what I can see. He wept, and the sadness and joy in his heart were palpable in the room. Once he regained his composure, he said, I want people to know the truth. It's very important that people know what you did for me, what death is, and not to be afraid. It's the most important message I can give to people right now. He asked me to share the following with others. Continue to live your life and honor me in your own way. I have moved on and have a new life. Don't mourn my loss. Celebrate your memories of me. Know that I am here and available to render assistance if you so desire. I am only a thought away. Just think of me and I'll be there in whatever way I can. And after Alan said that, I was reminded of a beautiful old song from 1991 called I'll Be There by the band The Escape Club. I didn't include this part in the book, but it is in my journal, in my original notes. And right after our conversation, I looked at my computer and I found the song and I played it. I hadn't heard it in years. And it really touched me and drove home for me that Alan was still here. He never left. Okay, the song goes, don't be afraid, oh my love, I'll be watching you from above. And I'd give all the world tonight to be with you, because I'm on your side. and I still care. I may have died, but I've gone nowhere. Just think of me, and I'll be there. I encourage you to listen to the song. It will reassure you that your departed loved ones are still here, that Alan is still here, and that we'll still be here, after we make our transition. We don't suddenly become something different. I found the music video for I'll Be There. It's here on YouTube. I'll drop a link below so that you can check it out. The symbolism of the underwater scenes is interesting. And if you're a fan of Professor Snape, Alan's character in Harry Potter, of course, you might even think that the singer looks a little like Snape. I hadn't seen the video before. I just watched it in preparation for this talk today, and I thought, he reminds me of Snape. So check it out and see what you think. It really is a beautiful song. I think you'll enjoy it if you haven't heard it before. So anyway, I asked Alan for more information today. I asked him, why are you so consistent about presenting as Alan Rickman? It's been 8 years now since you left this life. Surely you've moved on by now. Do you just continue to appear as Alan for our benefit because we all recognize you as having been this actor in this life? And here's what Alan said. He said, yes and no. I like appearing this way because this was a good life for me with good lessons. And I loved and deeply cared about a lot of people. I influenced a lot of people in this life and did my best to make a difference where I could and leave a legacy of kindness and understanding with humanitarian efforts in the arts, politics, and in many other spheres of influence. We don't simply cast all that aside like old rubbish after death. It very much remains a part of us and contributes to our growth as ever-evolving souls. I cherish my life as Alan Rickman, and it is my sincerest hope that when it's time for each of you to lay down your life, you will do so with an expanded awareness of the kindness you brought to many people and the love you shared. That's what life is all about, and that's ultimately what you will take with you into the next life when you shed your physical body. It's nothing to be afraid of, and I can assure your friend that I am not an amorphous blob. I am still Alan Rickman. When I died, the only thing I left behind was the physical body that was in pain and could no longer sustain life. It's very difficult to describe the body I am in now. I know some people call it a light body or energy body or soul body. You can call it whatever you like. In this state, I still have thoughts, cares, emotions, and desires. I am still a man, and I still care about the earth. I am working as hard as I can in my new life to make a difference and help those I can to evolve on their journey. We all work together, whether incarnating or working here in spirit. From my perspective, the evolution of the soul happens at all times and in all ways. There is no difference. We are all journeying together to understand and express love. As long as I am able to do my current work in my present form, appearing around the world as Alan Rickman, I will do so. So thank you, Alan. I'd like to end this video with a nod to transitions. We're all going through transitions throughout our life. Death is the ultimate transition, of course, but we experience large and small transitions all the time. So what I'd like to do now is to invite in Alan and ask him to send healing energy to you to assist with any transitions that you're currently going through, especially difficult ones. Okay, so make yourself comfortable and I'll ask Alan to join us. Okay, I'm asking for Alan Rickman, the British actor who died in 2016, to come in. Alan, would you please send healing energy to all the viewers of this video to help them through any transitions that they're currently experiencing, all in the highest and best way. Thank you. I'll give him a moment to do that. Thank you. I felt like a peace and a calmness come over my heart. Thank you. I hope that you felt that too. All right, so watch for the announcements about my forthcoming books. I've got more videos coming, of course, so subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Someone asked me for Alan's perspective on artificial intelligence, which I think will be an interesting video, so keep your eye out for that one. Subscribe to my newsletter on my website, SONYA'S.com, to get sneak peeks at my writing and more channeled messages from Alan. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again soon.